In part 3 of ICA's Renewable Energy podcast, Ron Benioff from the National Renewable Energy Lab and Jose Briano from Carrera, a global consulting firm, discuss recent growth or declines in renewable energy investment, the future of renewable energy by private sector companies, and ways the commercialization of renewable energy can be consistently achieved.
Ron, what can be done to turn that trend back around from fossil fuels to more investment in renewable energy?
One of the reasons why the total renewable energy investment has declined is that actually costs have gone down, especially for PV. So the reduction in investment is not fully correlated and doesn't mean that the total amount of increase of renewable capacity has declined. In fact, the statistics are showing that that's fairly steady. Having said that, there still is a lot of continued investment in coal and other fossil generation. So I think some of the measures that are important for governments to consider to further increase investment in renewable energy and energy efficiency are, especially where those technologies may not be fully cost competitive, but where there's a recognized externality, such as a benefit in terms of reducing air pollution, which is a huge issue around the world, or dealing with longer-term challenges such as climate change and generation of electricity from fossil sources. So in those cases, I think policies having either, or in some cases, a combination of a mandate or quota that requires a certain amount of renewable energy generation, and that can be together with a feed-in tariff or other source of payment, policies that can set pricing standards for renewable generation. There's a whole series of fiscal incentives, tax incentives, and credits for investment in renewable energy.
Jose Briano believes the future of renewable energy is now. The way we think about energy and its usage is changing as energy markets are rapidly transforming.
There are external factors, evidently, like the price of petrol, which largely determines the price of gas, and the development of alternative gas extraction technologies such as shale gas, which compete with renewable energies. These alter at any given time the rhythm at which renewable energy penetrates our systems. But I stress that they're already relevant. We're not talking about the future at the micro level. But when we look at the system level, let's say limitations to the penetration of renewable energy are issues such as the balancing of the system, issues such as having the available technology to adequately integrate these variable renewable energy sources. These are the questions which will determine to what degree renewable energies and at what pace renewable energies can penetrate the electric system.
So, Ron, do you think that private sector companies are becoming more convinced that renewables are a good investment? I'm assuming that a lot of businesses and industries might still believe it's going to cost us way too much money to get in that arena. How do you sell them on making the investment?
I think there's hard data these days that shows that wind, along with, of course, hydropower and bioenergy and PV in many instances, and concentrating solar power when combined with storage, are already cost competitive with fossil generation. And that's clearly the case, and you can see that from data across markets, and you can see that from investments by utilities and others.
I would add that Europe is at a stage now where it's moved rapidly towards a more market-oriented regulatory framework, which is also more responsive. And increasingly, we're seeing the possibility to integrate renewable energy sources without the need for public backing, be it tariffs, etc. That being said, it's true that in some markets, the penetration of renewable energy has been blocked in order to allow the system to digest the amount of renewable energy which has already been deployed. So I think Europe needs to be analyzed not as a whole, but dividing each individual market. I think Europe has moved on a lot from the early days where renewable energy was solely dependent on the financial backing of tariffs.
I feel that Europe is more of a leader in the renewable market.
And precisely for that reason, Europe is very interesting because it provides other markets with a view of the sort of challenges they'll be facing as they continue to strengthen the penetration of renewable energies in their grids.
Ron,
can you describe the various ways that renewable energy is commercialized today, and how can the commercialization of renewable energy be consistently achieved?
To further increase commercialization, I think we need to continue to pay attention to opportunities for joint investment and effective leveraging of public and private investment in research and development. I think we need to maintain strong incentives and support for research by industry. I think these investments in incubators for entrepreneurs and advisory support are critical. And I think maintaining strong long-term policy signals that will give investors confidence about a stable long-term renewable energy market while educating them and banks about the very promising economics for renewable energy are all critical.
Okay, thank you for giving me a little bit more information about that. There are many countries or regions across the globe that practice renewable energy development more consistently than others. Are there goals that the National Renewable Energy Lab has to establish better renewable energy practices in developing nations?
We certainly view the establishment of strong renewable energy markets and policies in developing countries as consistent with our mission.
Less than a decade ago, renewable energy played a relatively small role in global energy planning. While governments and public sectors seemed eager to increase renewables in their energy systems, the economics of implementing plans to do so were challenging. As Jose Briano and Ron Benioff have pointed out, the future for renewable energy is now. Today, renewable energy is no longer considered a marginal business. According to the Renewable Energy Policy Network for the 21st century, the evolution of renewable energy over the past decade has surpassed all expectations. Still, making the transition to large-scale renewable energy requires a shift in thinking, and as we've heard, an expansion of infrastructure including grid modernization, adoption of new technologies, new business models, and updated policies and regulatory frameworks. Copper's role in the continued advancement of renewable energy is significant. Copper is an essential material to help build clean energy systems today and into the future.
Thank you, Steve. And a special thanks to our program guests, Ron Benioff from the National Renewable Energy Lab, operated by the U.S. Department of Energy, and Jose Briano from Carrera, a global consulting firm focusing on renewable energy and energy efficiency sectors. Carrera is headquartered in Madrid, Spain. As Ron and Jose have stated, renewable energy sources provide a significant and growing percentage of the world's power, and copper plays an essential role in making it efficient and safe for our environment. This podcast is part of the ICA's continuing series on the societal benefits of copper. A refresher on the societal benefits of copper and this podcast program are available on the ICA website, www.copperalliance.org. For more information on the societal benefits of copper webinars or podcasts, please contact me, Nicole Witoslawski, by email, nicole.witoslawski, WITOSLAWSKI, @copperalliance.org. I look forward to hearing your thoughts and ideas. I will also work with ICA subject matter experts to answer questions you may have about the renewable energy topic on this podcast. I hope you will join us as we explore more energy efficiency and environmental subjects on the ICA's Transforming the Future with Copper, a Metamorphosis. Thanks for listening.